Then you see something, oh, let me do this to that.
But here's the thing, and this is to the audience. What are you focusing on when you do those things? What are your ideas behind them?
Right.
Are you trying to perfect a particular motion? Because then that's something physical.
Yeah.
Or are you trying to understand, okay, at what point of the hinge of this particular door can I get the most force?
Right.
How can I exert the least amount of pressure on my side and get the most effect on this side? Am I using the rest of my body as a medium to do so, or am I just using muscle?
Yeah. And things we don't normally think about.
Nope, but we do.
We're weird.
Good, we are. We are.
You know, the other part of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have all these tools in front of us, right?
Right.
And you take this knife, and we know slashing, thrusting, right? But when you actually have it in your hand and you're using it in application, is it really that what you're thinking? Are you thinking slashing and thrusting, or are you thinking this guy's trying to kill me? I mean, what are you? You know what I'm saying?
No.
I mean,
well,
sure, we
what is
train
the thought
this,
process?
we do
Yeah.
all this, but is that what's really going on? Because I know, like, before I learned how to fight the way we fight now, back in high school, in the days when you were getting ready to have a fight, my palms would get sweaty, my voice would be scratchy, I'd be nervous, and all these things.
Ready to throw up.
Ready to throw up, and you're like, you were not thinking about the fight. You were thinking of all these things that were going on in your body, in your head, and you're getting lightheaded, you're getting, doing the breathing thing. Then you got in the fight, and it was all just chaos.
And you don't remember what the hell
and
happened.
you don't remember what happened after, oh yeah, you did this and you did that. All your friends are telling you whatever else, but what were you thinking? Should I,
What's going through your head?
Yeah.
Leave the stove on.
How do I
Go need to
calm
buy
all those
groceries.
things down in my head so that I can focus on the stuff that I learned how to do, slashing and thrusting and whatever else.
Oh, yeah.
But that's never talked about.
It's never talked about outside of the way we teach because, and it's a great point to bring up, because if we're talking about the bladed mind being a way to get people to think clearer for themselves, to think of things that they value, they find most important. Like you said, some students want that self-defense. Some people just want the art to feel more confident within themselves.
Some are socializing.
Some are just socializing. But
right.
The mentality is there for the individual. What we do with our students is we emphasize from the very beginning a simple concept.
Right.
That if your brain is deprived of oxygen, it will not function as well as if when you're completely oxygenated, which is a relaxed state.
Right.
When your body is, you're getting a full breath in, blood circulating through your body, you're getting all the oxygen. So that becomes the basis of how the students absorb information, because we do everything we possibly can, whether it's making them laugh, whether it's making them talk, whether it's making them just breathe.
Right.
To get into a state where they're going to absorb information at the highest capacity.
And I put that to a test just the other day with one of our students, right? I had this young lady swinging away, 1 in 11, and just going, and we had padded sticks, and I had to beat the hell out of Nain.
That's what I'm good for.
She lasted all but 20 seconds.
Yes. Gassed out. Real
Gassed out. So you could tell she's right. And
Make it
you almost
random.
wonder, so why did that happen? Was she just so eager to just swing away? Was something else in her head that made it just, out of anger? Was it, was
She
it
was
just...
definitely emotional.
Yeah, so when you look at that, and I did that on purpose to see where she was at, to see whether it was a combative thing, or was it an emotional thing, or, was it just something else, and why do you... Even though prior to all that, we gave her lessons about breathing, relaxing, and just staying focused and calming down your nerves and the whole bit. But because she was in a emotional stress, it totally went out the window.
Out the window,
she just,
everything.
And she was gassed out 20 seconds, and we'll put that video up.
Yeah.
We'll add that. Yeah.
It's his idea.
Yes. but it just goes to show you, that when you're not in the right frame of mind, everything you know or learn, like you said,
is insignificant.
It
doesn't
goes out
matter.
the window. Now you're just swinging wildly and just trying to hit whatever's in front of you.
Well, like you said, in high school, sweaty palms, turned stomach, nervous. Nothing was going through your head because that literal stress stops function. Cortisol.
Yeah.
Stresses the body out.
Yeah, and she was just, 20 seconds.
And that was
and
it.
prior to that, when the other times when she was relaxed and calm,
hour and a half,
and she was doing great.
Classes, and she's all
having fun and giggling, whatever.
Yeah.
But, and again, I did that to see where she really was for that moment because we knew she was going through some stuff. And it's a great way to gauge your students to figure out, and if you don't do that, then you're doing them a disservice.
No, you get into the sense where you cater to the ones that have a similar mentality and pick it up.
Right.
And then the ones that are, for whatever reason, whether they're having an emotional time or whether they just don't get it right away,
right,
they start getting ignored. They start getting neglected. And what happens?
They leave. Yeah. They quit. They you're not giving me enough attention that I'm paying for, and that's why I like to go a little deeper, and we don't get into the personalized folks.
No, it's not like we. Yeah.
We do this so that we can gauge what they're gonna need.
Although, according to a lot of our guests, we get a lot out of them without even trying.
Yeah, we do.
They're like, yeah, I've never heard that story. I've been a student for 10 years. Really? We didn't even ask them.
Yeah, blurting it out. But again, I feel, and Danny does too, is that it's important to understand that person in front of you. Because what you're going to give them is important to them, but what they take away from what you're giving them is even much more important.
Yeah, because what they want and what they need aren't the same.
Yeah, and if you don't look at that as part of your teachings to make sure that you're giving them the right stuff that they actually need and not what they think they need, then you're not doing the student right.
I want to learn how to use a knife.
Yeah, no,
Do
no
you?
you don't. No, you don't. I don't even carry a knife. Come on, stop it.
Great stuff. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the ideas, techniques, wonderful training modules, but ultimately, when is it going to be used? Why is it going to be used?
The other part is that a lot of students will go out and they'll learn stuff, right? And like you said, when is it ever going to be used, right? And for the most parts, people who are taking martial arts, no matter what it is, don't get into a lot of fights once they get into it, right?
No.
It's prior to learning that they were getting into a lot of fights. Because what are we first taught? Be respectful, be above everything. Don't.
It's the concepts that we use on a regular basis, not the art itself, not the hitting and the striking. It's the concepts behind
Be respectful, be confident,
be kind.
Be kind. All those things
Humble.
that we teach.
Yeah.
Those are the things that keeps them out of the fight.
Mm-hmm. And those are the things that I use on a regular basis to go through my life.
Yeah.
To go through difficult moments. To be able to go, okay, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, it never is.
No, it isn't. Yeah. But again, how are you giving that information away?
Right.
Because if the person isn't receiving it in a way where they could use it on a regular basis, then are we doing a disservice, or does that student just doesn't want to hear it?
Yeah, you really gotta hone in on that to see what it is for that individial. What do they actually?
There's some people that are like, hey, I want to learn how to get out of handcuffs while the cop is putting them on me.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
I want to learn how to beat people up. Maybe this isn't for you.
Yeah,
Go anger down management might be better.
Go down the street. They teach that over there.
There's a lot to be said in the process in which you give something to other people. Because the thing about any sort of information sharing, whether you're writing down something, whether you're putting it on fiction, whether you're making a video, you're putting yourself out there. You're giving a part of you to whomever consumes it.
Yeah, on the daily.
So how good of a product are you?
I don't know. I'm only worth $20.
You are cheap.
I
I, for one, am grateful, not that you're cheap.
am.
I'm grateful for the information that you and Danny have given me because it
Yeah.
has transformed my life.
Yeah, and I've seen the changes, and me and Danny, we may joke about it all the time, but yeah, you know, what an improvement to the asshole you used to be to what you are today.
Haven't gotten into a single fight.
Yeah,
Haven't had to beat anyone up to feel better. Haven't
yeah,
had to flex my muscles. Hadn't had or any of those, ego trip, boastful kind of attitude. None of that.
since you started.
Since I've started, well,
A few times where I had to
since
slap you down.
since I've fully committed to the lessons,
Right,
the real lessons, not the stick stuff, not the knife stuff, but
Right.
the ideas and concepts behind them.
right. Okay, good. I'm glad you said it that way because I was going to slap you. Just because.
Okay.
I want to make sure you got it right.
Well, this is my journey, and I'm sharing it with you guys and my ideas on the art itself. While sure, they have physical things, they have sticks, they have knives, and again, all fun stuff. What are you really taking away from it?
Right.
Are you taking away a new exercise? Are you taking away a new technique? Or are you really listening to the words that we're conveying, the emotions that we're putting across? Because, folks, this isn't something we do. This is a part of us.
Yeah.
This is a part of my daily life and the way that I process everything around me.
And I think that's an important aspect about any martial artist.
Oh,
I mean,
I think it has to be.
You always hear the stories of, martial arts is a way of life.
yeah.
And for those people who don't get that or who don't do that,
Right.
Are kidding themselves
Right.
because they got into it for all the wrong reasons.
Definitely got it.
Right.
And I want to just point out that it isn't just martial arts.
No.
It's whatever discipline you dedicate yourself to.
Right.
Because there are people out there who religion, whether it's their careers, whether have become better people, not because of what they do, but because of how they go about doing it.
Right.
The amount of time that they put in it, the study, the work, the effort, the enjoyment,
Right.
the pleasure that they get out of accomplishing little things here and there that amount to very little physically, but mentally
Yeah. It
opens up a
changes.
whole new world.
Wow. Well, this has been a fascinating night.
It's where my training has been going. And I think inevitable that it should go there.
If it doesn't, then you've been doing something wrong. Then I will have to slap you again.
Again,
I had given you, when I give you your lessons, they're not the typical fighting with a stick and learning how to block and all that other stuff. My lessons that I've been giving you are totally cerebral, we should say.
Yeah, cerebral.
It's about the thought process and how we see things in a certain way.
Let me. I don't want to say correct, but your lessons to me are how I see them.
Right.
And
If
that's
I give the very same lesson to somebody else, it would be lost.
exactly.
Yes.
Not necessarily lost. They wouldn't get what I get, but they would get what they get.
Right.
The individual. Because at the end of the day, why do I do this?
Right. Now you had an interesting take on something that I showed you, and you were so excited because you felt that you knew where it came from, what I was trying to teach you.
Oh, yeah.
And you saw something, and I said, okay, what is that? And explain.
Okay. So lately we've been doing this exercise for students, and at its basic idea, we want to get the students to be more fluid in their movements. So we go up, we go down, and then we go side to side, essentially. So our 1 and our 11 with a roof block, and then a downward strike, which is actually just our 1 again. But what I realized is that in that process, what we're doing is that we're essentially stretching the brain and the thinking. to become more flexible. Because this to this, we automatically go back to here. But now we're asking them to go down. So at the beginning, they're like, oh, wait, I have to go here. Or, wait, I have to go up. So it makes their brains stretch their thinking. But then I started thinking deeper into it and really analyzing the structure behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, wait, up. Oh, wait, there's a base. Okay, wait. Hold on. The vertical one, there's that. But well, what if I had the angles on the side? Oh, that's an asterisk. Wait, but we're moving forward too. And it became a 3-dimensional shape. And it dawned on me, you always say that you see things 360. Now, mind you, it's not even 360, that's a flat circle.
Right.
Whatever degrees the sphere is. We're not very good at math, so we don't know what it is, and we probably should have looked it up before this episode, but that's how well prepared we are. Whatever degrees a sphere is, and that's what that became. Every movement that we do, every angle of attack that we have, if you put it together, will create a sphere. And
Right.
at the connecting points at the end of each of those movements, triangles. Everything that we've ever discussed geometrically, shapes that we use, triangle footwork, it is found within that sphere. And at any point of contact, it can branch off into another sphere. Which means that you really do think about everything that's going on around you. In front of
360
you,
degrees.
behind you.
Right.
And how you come up with new ideas and concepts is like, oh wait, what if I move this way? Well, there's all these new slivers that you can play with, all these new ideas that you can convey. And for the first time, I got a glimpse at the way that you see things.
Right.
And that goes back to what we were just talking about. You're giving a piece of yourself every time you train.
Yeah, and you know, when I see these things, right? I mean, it floats around in my head, and I'll start moving like Danny does. He'll go, oh, what is this? Oh, this is whatever, right? But when I move, I see shapes, that have dimensions to them,
Right.
and so more like Minecraft. Right?
Look,
Yeah, right? Because it's all just squares, and then
Yeah.
once you put them all together, it can make a circle. But that's how I see things. So
Right.
when I see images, when you were talking about this piece that went up,
Yeah.
right? We also said, oh, it could also be going down,
Right.
Right? And so that's your 4 blocks, if that's the case, if you go point to point.
That's your cube, yeah.
Your 1 and your 11, well, that's here and here.
Yeah, that's the bisecting
Right.
X.
But then we also reach out, like you said. So now it's also going from here to the center and back over here. So that's the triangle that's going into the cone,
That's a rhomboid.
right?
Yeah.
And then also, we will also then shoot it back this way to go, to shoot back out. So next thing you know, if you thought about it, what is Michelangelo's image of a man, right? It's a guy
The
doing this.
Vitruvian man. Yeah.
Yeah, with the thing. Well, isn't what I'm talking about exactly that?
Yeah.
So,
Except 3-dimensional, not on a piece of paper.
right. And this idea was probably born from when I talked to Nicholas Moreno, who talks about,
The arcs, the spirals.
and all these things, and, the geometry of it all. And that's the way I've always been seeing things.
I looked at that sphere in my head, and that was one of the first thoughts. I was like, oh, wow, you can put Nicholas's model of the human body, the spirals, right at the center of it.
Right. And it would be...
And it would work.
Yes. So that's my 3D modeling of what's going on in my head.
This goes on in his head, folks. It took 7.5 years for me to get to this point where I can kind of see what he's talking about. But he's seen it this way for a long time. He is a freak. He's an alien. We don't know where he came from. Maybe it's all the times he was dropped on his head as a baby.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
But okay.
But it's a good explanation for what it is.
Because and that's again my interpretation of it. It wasn't yours.
Yeah.
I took
'Cause
it.
I don't even call it that. I just
No.
say, I just see everything
Right.
clearly.
Yeah, I just see clearly. I see it here, here, and here.
Yeah.
And you've proven it many, many times. But for like I said, for once, I can kind of see the process.
Good.
and it blew my mind, and how I've been thinking about it this whole time, because every structure has something like that.
Yeah.
You look at an atom.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has a similar structure.
Exactly.
Except in this particular instance, because it is used for a combative sense, the nucleus can move wherever you need it to.
Right. And there you are, the bladed mind.
Yep, that's the bladed mind in a nutshell. You probably confused everybody far more than we've actually cleared things up, but keep asking questions.
Give us a call. Call him. He's figured it out somewhat.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It is mind-blowingly fascinating, because a lot of the stuff that we talked about in this particular episode came up during the episode.
Yeah. I love being able to teach somebody who will then take it and figure out what it is that I'm really giving them.
Yeah, you called it hodgepodge. I'm thinking, practical. What was it? Practical instincts.
Yeah. Folks, that's all the time we have for tonight, because it's getting late.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's definitely a late one. Thank you for joining us again. This has been Nain short colleague conversation.
Yeah, and folks, remember, we're not going to be here this Sunday.
Sunday.
We don't have a show coming up
this whole
because
weekend.
Yeah, we're just going to be so swamped with what we need to do with our personal lives.
Oh yeah.
We
But
apologize,
we will be back the week
but
after
we will
that.
be back.
We're not going anywhere. We
Yeah.
still really much enjoy what we're doing, and we have a lot of amazing people that we want to talk to more than anything.
Yep.
So look forward to that. Thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe, please. That definitely helps us. Tell your friends. Pass this video around, and let them know that there's these two crazy guys that have no idea what they're doing, but they're entertaining as hell.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you for being on my show. Thank you for having me on your colleague conversation.
Hey, thanks for being on my show. I appreciate it.
All right, folks. You guys have a wonderful night.
And 3, 2, 1, cut!